Imagine this. It's a normal Saturday morning. You lock your bedroom door, you turn up your computer volume so the sound of Roblox fills the hallway, and you make sure your mom thinks you're just having a long gaming session. You feel like a genius. You think you've pulled off the perfect plan to chase your dreams and have the best day ever. That is exactly what this Roblox player did. He thought he was finally free from his parents' boring rules. He thought he knew better than everyone else. But while his mother was downstairs, peacefully making breakfast and thinking her son was safe in his room, this boy was already miles away, heading toward a situation so terrifying that it would change his life forever. Today, we are diving deep into a case that sounds like a scary movie, but it is a real-life warning for every single gamer watching this. We all love to play, and we all hate being told no. But sometimes, that one no is the only thing standing between you and a total nightmare.
The name of this player is Sam, and he was only 12 years old. At first glance, he seemed to be just another common Roblox player, nothing out of the ordinary. He spent hours playing with his best friend, and the two were inseparable, both in the virtual world and the real one. But Sam ended up becoming known at school for a very different and dangerous story. There are reports that he ran away from home to participate in a school ship trip even after his mother had forbidden it for safety reasons. If you had known Sam before the incident, you would have seen a cheerful boy full of life. However, after that day on the ship, everything changed. I'm going to tell you everything about this boy and the day that changed their lives forever. So leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and stay until the end, because this case will make you think twice before disobeying your parents. Sam was one of those kids who didn't listen to others much. He thought he knew everything, but deep down he was just a 12-year-old boy who lived for his digital world. Every single day, as soon as he got home from school, he would throw his backpack in the corner, barely touching his snacks, and turn on the computer. For Sam, the real world was just a waiting room for Roblox. He spent hours playing with his best friend Eric. The two were joined at the hip. If Eric was playing a horror game at 3 a.m., Sam was right there with him. Sam's father was a mechanical engineer and lived more in the workshop than at home, often coming back late with grease on his hands. It was up to Sam's mother to take care of the household. She was one of those mothers who stays on top of things, constantly checking his posture, asking if he'd finished his math homework, and making sure he wasn't talking to strangers online. But there was one thing she couldn't control: his obsession. It was Roblox morning, afternoon, and night. Sam knew every secret passage in Brookhaven and had mastered every speedrun trick in the book. To his classmates, he was a legend. To his mother, he was a boy losing touch with reality. She often worried that he couldn't distinguish between a game where you have infinite lives and the real world where you only get one.
The announcement that sparked rebellion. The problem started on a Tuesday morning when the school principal announced something that would change everything. Everyone, attention. We are going to have our first ever school ship trip. The whole classroom erupted. It was October, Children's Month, and the school had managed to rent a massive sightseeing ship to have a grand party at sea. Eric went crazy and immediately whispered to Sam, "We have to go. Imagine the Wi-Fi on a luxury ship. We can play the new update while we're actually on the water. It'll be the ultimate immersion." Sam accepted right away. He could already see the TikToks and the screenshots he would take. When Sam got home, bursting with excitement, his mother killed the mood instantly. "A ship? No way, Sam. You don't even know how to swim properly. And the ocean is unpredictable. If something happens, it's too dangerous." Sam tried to argue. He talked about the life jackets, the supervisors, and how everyone was going. He even tried to get his dad to take his side, but his dad just said, "Listen to your mother, son." His mother remained a wall of stone. "You're not going, period." Sam stormed up to his room, locking the door with a loud thud. The seeds of rebellion were already planting themselves. The next day, he told Eric the news. His friends scoffed. "Your mom is being so dramatic. It's a party, not a voyage across the Atlantic. If you don't go, you're going to be the only one left out." The two spent that afternoon playing, but the vibe was heavy. Eric wouldn't stop talking about the snacks, the music, and the view. That was when Sam had the most foolish idea of his life. He spent the entire night before the trip preparing.
On the morning of the voyage, while his mother was busy making breakfast, Sam executed his plan. He locked his bedroom door. He turned his TV to a 10-hour-long Roblox gameplay video on YouTube and cranked the volume just high enough to be heard through the wood. He stuffed his pillows under the blanket and even placed a wig he'd found in an old costume box on the pillow to look like his head. Then, with his heart hammering against his ribs, he climbed out the window, jumped the garden wall, and sprinted toward the school bus, hiding his face with a hoodie. When Eric saw him on the bus, his jaw dropped. "How did you get out?" Sam gave a cocky smile. "She thinks I'm still asleep. She won't check on me until lunch." The ship was immense, a towering white fortress on the water. Inside, it was a paradise. Mountains of ice cream, infinite hot dogs, and a DJ playing the latest hits. But Sam and Eric didn't want to stay inside. They wanted to find the highest point of the ship to get the best cell service. The principal's voice boomed over the speakers. "Stay away from the railings! The deck is slippery, the currents are strong, and there are sharks in these waters." To Sam, this was just more adult talk, meant to ruin his fun. A classmate shared a mobile hotspot, and that was it. Sam and Eric found a secluded spot on the upper deck, leaning right against the edge. They were so glued to their screens, trying to finish a high-stakes match, that the world around them vanished. Sam moved closer to the railing to see his screen better in the sunlight, leaning his weight against the cold, wet metal. The deck was treacherous. Earlier cleaning had left the surface slick, and the sea mist had made it as slippery as ice. In one tragic second, Sam's foot slid. His phone flew from his hands, shattering against the deck, and Sam tumbled over the side. The cold water hit him like a concrete wall. He didn't know how to swim, and the weight of his heavy sneakers dragged him down. By some miracle, he grabbed onto a thick mooring rope hanging from the side. He screamed, but the wind and the music drowned him out. Then, the water changed. Eric, looking over the side in horror, saw a dark shape circling below. A fin cut through the waves with terrifying speed. Before the ship's crew could react to Eric's screams, the predator struck. A single, agonizing bite tore through the water. Sam felt a pain so intense it turned his vision white. The sea around him turned a deep, dark red. The ship's owner and 2 teachers finally reached the edge and hauled the rope up with everything they had. When Sam's body finally hit the deck, he was deathly pale. He had lost a massive amount of blood and had already fainted from the shock. Back at home, the phone rang. "Your son has been in a terrible accident," the principal said. Sam's mother was confused. "That's impossible. He's in his room. I can hear his games." But when she pounded on the door and finally broke the lock, she found only an empty room and a YouTube video playing to a pile of pillows. The realization hit her like a physical blow. She realized her son had valued a party more than her words. Sam survived after 12 hours of surgery, but the boy who walked out of that hospital was not the same one who jumped out the window. He lost his right foot that day. He now wears a prosthetic, a heavy reminder of a single morning of pride. His father was devastated, haunted by the fact that he was at work while his son was fighting for his life. "Why didn't you just talk to us, Sam?" he asked. Sam had no answer. What could he say? That he thought his parents were his enemies? Today, Sam's life is strictly regulated. The internet is no longer a right, it's a rare privilege. Eric, who witnessed the entire horrific event, can no longer look at the ocean without trembling. He has become the loudest voice in school, telling everyone that listening to your parents isn't about losing freedom, it's about staying alive. Sam developed a paralyzing phobia of water. He can't even stand near a swimming pool without the memories of that cold, red water rushing back. He finally learned the value of the boundaries his mother tried to set. This case isn't just a story about a tragedy, it's a warning. We often think we are invincible behind a screen or inside a game, but the real world has consequences that no reset button can fix. A single lie or one act of disobedience can rewrite your entire future in a heartbeat. Do you think the school was to blame for the trip, or was this entirely Sam's choice? Leave your thoughts in the comments. The biggest lesson we can learn from this story is that our parents don't give us rules to ruin our fun. They give us rules to protect our future. Think about it for a second. When this Roblox player's mother said no to the ship trip, he felt like his world was ending. In his mind, he saw his friends eating ice cream, laughing, and playing games on the deck. He thought his mom was being mean, or that she just didn't understand how cool this trip was. But you see, she wasn't looking at the party or the ice cream. She was looking at the dark, deep ocean. She was looking at the danger that Sam was too young to see. She knew that the ocean is a place that doesn't give second chances. In a video game like Roblox, we are used to having infinite lives. If you fall off a map in an obby, you just oof and respawn back at the checkpoint. If you lose a match, you just click play again. We get so used to this that sometimes we forget that real life doesn't have a respawn button. Before you decide to lie to your parents or break a serious rule, I want you to stop and ask yourself a very important question. Is one afternoon of fun really worth a lifetime of regret? So next time you feel angry because you can't go somewhere or do something, take a deep breath. Remember this story. Remember the boy who thought he was a genius for escaping through his window, only to end up in a hospital bed, wishing he had just stayed in his room.